Good morning. I'm Jitendra Malik. I'm a professor of ECS and bioengineering, but I'm here in my role as Associate Dean for Special Initiatives, and it's my privilege to welcome you all for this inaugural class. We have been working fairly heavily behind the scenes for the last few months to launch this program, and it's wonderful to see you all here in this auditorium, and it now suddenly feels real. That instead of it was all ideas and concepts and papers and PowerPoint, and now we have you in the auditorium. And so I hope to welcome you all in fall at Berkeley. So today's event is essentially about giving you all the information that you need to make your decision. And we hope the decision will be that you'll show up here in fall. So let's go right ahead. So I think Shankar already mentioned the background as to why we launched this program. It's a new thing. It doesn't fit into one of our standard buckets. And academia is actually very conservative in terms of launching new kinds of degrees or new kinds of programs. And there is an undergraduate degree which we've had for, more than 100 years. There's a PhD program, and these are very well understood and very famous around the world, and people come for those. This particular program is innovative in many different ways. It arose from a clear and definite need expressed by our industrial partners and by various national organizations, and you see some quotations there. I mentioned in particular our industrial partners. I used to be chair of EECS some time ago, and the recurring theme that our industrial advisory board would bring up again and again is we need a certain kind of engineer. We need an engineer who's well grounded in the technical basics. That's what you expect from a Berkeley graduate. But in addition, to have that kind of capability that would lead them to take up positions of engineering leadership, which requires a certain kind of knowledge and a certain kind of experience. And it was based on all of that we put together this program. And let's see if it works. I mean, you are our inaugural batch. I am sure that we will succeed. And sooner or later, we will see many such programs around the country. So it's great to be part of this pioneering effort. Okay, so to really jump right ahead, what the whole program is about. And in fact, we have structured the day around telling you what this whole program is about. So let's add it up, 12 plus 5 plus 7. So how much is that? So that's 24. Good, you're awake. Okay. So 24 units, 2 semesters. So it's a tightly run program. We expect you to finish in 2 semesters. Now, what are the 3 components of the program? Let's start with the bottom of the T. So it's structured like a T. The bottom of the T is technical specialization. So these are courses in particular disciplines. So these could be courses in ECS, mechanical engineering, nuclear engineering, IOR, and so on. Now this part is somehow familiar to you. You've been undergraduates, you've taken classes. Think of these as more advanced classes. But we have structured them into tracks so that you get... So if you took... So this amounts to 4 courses. If you took these 4 courses spread out all over the universe, it would not amount to much. We really need you to get depth in some area, and so we have structured the program according to various tracks. And outside on the tables you have various information sheets from the different departments. I have some of these in my hand. There are information sheets from each of the 5 departments: ECS, ME, Nuclear, MSE, and IOR. So if you grab a copy of those sheets, this will tell you what are the courses being offered at each of the tracks. So we don't have a session today devoted to this because this is kind of stuff which is our bread and butter. You know that Berkeley delivers on its undergraduate and graduate courses, and these are sort of a continuation of our strength. Okay, so that part is easy. The core leadership curriculum, these are kind of the new courses that were developed for this program. And think of this as in some way like a MBA accelerated into 2 courses. Now, you are all engineers, you are smart, so you can do it in 2 courses, which other people need 2 years for. Okay? So that's what we believe, and I hope you will prove us right. Okay, so this session, there's a class called Engineering Leadership 1 in the first semester, and a class called Engineering Leadership 2, which is in the second semester. And Ikhlaq Sidhu, who's here, okay, over there, he is going to be teaching those classes, Professor Ikhlaq Sidhu. And one of the sessions that you have today is this case study, this Netflix case study, which will give you a little flavor of how the education in those two courses is going to be structured. And I think that session is, when is it, 10:45 a.m. to 12:05 p.m. So you'll get a pretty good sense of what these two courses will be about. So this is, the idea is that this gives you the basics of an MBA right in two courses. Okay, then we have the capstone project. So this is a unique and special part of this degree. The idea is that it brings the two together. So you have technical specialization in some discipline, say integrated circuits, physical electronics. Okay, you learn about some management concepts there. But this is where it comes together. And the concept is something like the following. We imagine that you work in teams, maybe teams of, say, 3 students, on a project which is of industrial relevance. It could be a project suggested by some company outside. It could be a project suggested by a professor whose group has just done some research which has already established the feasibility of a certain concept as pure research, but there is this additional work needed to determine whether it could possibly be a product. Is it something that people would be interested in? Does it meet a need? Would there be a market for it? So the capstone project, in a sense, very nicely combines these two strands in your education. And we have set up a session where you'll find out more about the capstone project, and that's from 1:30 p.m. There'll be a number of professors from different departments who will give you a flavor of what the capstone projects might be like. And the way we imagine this to work out is that when you come in fall, there'll be a large number of choices available to you. In the beginning, you will get to sort of try out a couple of those options, and then pretty soon decide which project appeals to you, and then plunge right ahead. Remember, this degree is a very tight degree. We have 2 semesters in which you have to finish this. So we can't afford to dawdle too long. You can't afford to dawdle too long. You need to find the project right away. So there you have it. That's the basics of the program. And the day is organized into telling you more about each of these. And technical specialization, we don't have a special session, but you have these handouts. And of course, you can look at the Berkeley catalog and surf around on the web, and you'll find out all about our wonderful course offerings. And this slide shows you some of the tracks that we have. So in the ECS, as I said, some thought has gone into the design of these tracks so that they are meaningful, and in 4 courses give you a certain depth in a certain area. And we have them across a number of different departments. And over time, as this program is offered year after year, the number of tracks will increase. And obviously, we want to offer more choices to your class. But this is what we have available today for your class coming in. Then I already pointed out what those 24 units were. This is how they'll be structured. So the top of the T, which are these MBA type classes, Engineering Leadership 1, Engineering Leadership 2. Okay. Technical electives. So imagine that there are 2 technical electives you take in the fall semester, 2 technical electives you take in the spring semester. And then the capstone project, which kind of brings the 2 together. It starts out in the fall with 2 units, and it concludes in spring with 3 units. So imagine that you're setting up the project, doing your initial planning, whereas in the spring you actually get to build your prototype or do your extensive survey and so on. There's also a lecture series where we bring in speakers from outside, inspiring leaders of the technology industry to give you their pearls of wisdom. And this slide essentially tells you something about, gives you some flavor of the support that we have from industry at large. And I look forward to seeing you in fall. Shankar.
why don't you take them? Do you want to take some?
Yeah, maybe I'll take some questions now itself. Depends on how the schedule is. I think we have time, right? I'm happy to take questions if you have any. And of course, we'll be, through the day, we have more detailed opportunities. Yes?
So, right now, in my focus, there are only 5. Okay. Thank you. Right now, in my focus, there are only 5 courses permitted to be chosen. So,
what is your focus again?
It's graphics and
Yeah.
Computer vision.
Yes.
So, is it possible to choose other courses in UC Berkeley graduate level?
So these 5 courses still gives you because the technical concentration is 4 courses.
Yes.
So that gives you a little bit of a choice. That is 4 out of 5. And these classes have been designed. So we have chosen them to provide the concentration. So so that's the whole logic of it, right? So if, for example, you were to take, at least this was our thinking, and we may revise this as we go along. But our current thinking was, if you took those 4 classes, one class in visual computing. I mean, this is, by the way, my area. My work is in computer vision. So you took one class in computer vision, one class in operating systems, one class in theoretical computer science, one class in plasmas. Okay, you will have taken 4 classes, but it wouldn't really cohere into depth. Depth means that you must learn some area particularly well, so that if you go out and you want to work for Pixar or ILM or a video game company, there is some area which you have mastered. So the thought that has gone behind the design of these concentrations is to provide that depth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Actually say, so, these 24 are the minimums. So our sense is that if you want to take additional classes, you can certainly do so in an overload. And, 12 units is tight for 12 graduate units is tight. A lot of people coming out of graduate school, you take 19 units and all that. These are 12 units is tight. But I think for the first year, what we'd like to say is we'd like to take out a class that please add as an overload. But please be careful about not overloading yourself to the point that it's going to get in the way of you doing the capstone project. The other thing I have to say, and Jitendra alluded to it, everything at Berkeley, if you really feel that you have a substitute for one of these 5 classes that you think will contribute to the depth, you'll be making a case to him about why you think that's the case. And that is I think we've really worked hard at this depth, as Jitendra says, but if it really, the cohort's small enough, so everything is pretty customized. So that's it.
Okay. Other questions? Okay. Thank you. Well, let's go on to the next part.